Roger, with Dan Cameron still leading, Tom Ingram, and then the very fast start. On the exit of Nelson down towards the bomb hole, and a replay on the P3 who are absolutely right. Teammates were battling and they were kind of barging one another towards the corner. Aaron Hayes put his trajectory to the outside, and both of them kind of just missed that breaking point, and all of a sudden that was from that Jake Hill. One of the BMW down one, I think that might be Charles Rainford as they come up towards the line.
Hill is out, suspension damage.
Struggling towards the line. Yeah, Charles Rainford was the one who was wide. He's now going to be under attack. Jake Hill in towards the first corner, and our first drive-through penalty of the race, Josh. That goes to number 14, Rona Pearce, the Toyota stage. Doesn't get much better. The WK gets his first as well. There's been an incident as well from Ryan. It's been Halstead, isn't it?
No, not Halstead.
In the battle with Halstead and Ryan Bentley.
He's trying to go ploughing the grass.
He got pushed off.
Yeah, saw that. So Jake Hill comes down the pit lane. Thanks, Al.
Sir Bernard, two favourite drivers have been fucking in incidents on race one.
Not that, but Ashton's up to third already.
Down the further end, we've got another car in. Thanks, Alan. Yeah, so Stephen Jelly in with some dramas as well. But what a shame for Jake Hill. Saturday was almost a disaster. You wouldn't have thought it got much worse, but for Jake Hill, this is going to be a non-point scoring race for him by the looks of it. He's going to be lucky to try and stay on the lead lap. If he can, he might then be helped by a safety car, but you can almost write off race number one. It's also helped by the fact it's a long lap. It's a long lap. It certainly is, yes. It's just under 3 miles for the competitors to negotiate. Meantime, out front, Dan Cameron still leads, and looks like at the minute he's just started to pull away from Tom Ingram. And remember, Dan Cameron has a little bit more food to do compared to the two cars behind him, and that might be an advantage as the race unfolds. Another good result, starting ninth on the grid, and such Hyundais have the pace around this circuit at the minute. Maybe not Tom Ingram though, because that's Dustin is looking very threatening as they come across the line. Gets a nice turn of speed in towards the first corner. We're side by side behind as well, and Adam Morgan is trying to keep it made. Robo, who goes right round the outside of Richie's corner. So Dan Rowbottom now in an apparating forward focus into fourth position, and Adam Morgan will try and strike back in towards the pair here. But Robo making his forward focus work, just like the other two ahead of him, very well indeed.
He went missing for that. I didn't notice.
Ronan Pearson has just come through his drive-through as well. 4 mechanics on the grid after the 30 seconds. Perfect, thank you, Al. So yeah, that's not good news for him, but that's the reason that Ronan Pearson has received that drive-through penalty, back on his way, and in fact just rejoined ahead of Nicholas Hamilton. So lost a few places, but not right at the back of the field as it stands. So we are now on to lap number 3. Quickest lap has been recorded by Dan Camish.
Stephen Jelly's car, that's not good news. It's up on Dolly's being reversed into the garage.
So it looks like that Jelly is out of this race. We're still waiting for that tolling to be finished on Jake Hill's car. There could be a potential for full retirement, so the more that the team works to get that car out, could still be a little bit of a bonus for him. But for now, Jake Hill still sits in the pit lane after the champion down to 24th place. Race have to use those hard tyres in race 2 because it's going to happen in race. Side by side. Yeah, here they go. They're down the way. Looking straight to the line. So probably imagine a bit of boots being used there as well for Dan Lloyd over Tom Chilton as they switch around in towards the first corner.
Stephen Jenny has walked to the back of the garage, very dejected indeed. I'm going to see if I can maybe get a quick one of this and explain what's going on. No, you've got action?
Yeah, Shedden has been kind of harpooned by Max Hall there. There's a yellow flag out, and that car of Max Hall has just crawled to the grass and trying to get back onto the track. Gordon Shedden with some significant damage on the left rear, Alan, is crabbing by the looks of it down the pit lane there, so he was an innocent bystander in that one.
Put me on the steps to that, don't you? Let me have a quick word with Stephen Jenny. I'm sorry for you, Stephen. What's up?
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a bit of a thing at the hairpin, and I went to the very inside and got across the apex curve and thought I was in the best place possible. And then I think Max Hall didn't know I was there, and came diving out of the way of the incident, bashing into the side of the car and snapped me upright. So.
I'm sorry for you, Stephen. Still 2 more races to look forward to. You've got work to do over the course of today. Thank you for explaining that. I'll get myself to the Toyota.
I did warn everyone that this could be an eventful race. Gordon Shedden's not too happy, as I can imagine, after. So not good news for him then, so while all the events have been going on in the pits with the drivers on track, the top 3 still having number 27 heading away for both from Ingram, and Sutton has not backed off whatsoever, still just 3/10 of a second between second and third.
Hall's just an absolute lunatic, isn't he? Arrives on the grass. And see
What's it broken?
everything.
Sorry for you, Gordon. Thanks for talking to us. The car is pulled back into the garage and the team working on that now, but Gordon Shedden, not surprisingly, very upset.
Yeah, very angry, which is very understandable. If you look at the incident which saw Max Hall across the grass and had no control of the car, unfortunately. So Max Hall has also ended his race in the pit lane, as we heard, but still this is a great battle, Josh, out front. Top 3 are having a good little fight here, and I would probably add to this that now Tom Ingram has got into his bit of a stride and just started to close the gap on the race leader.
2 seconds quicker on the previous lap, a 10th quicker through sector 1. What Gordon Shedden probably doesn't realise is what you just described there, Matt, that it wasn't a move. He was trying to sort his wheels out of control after a mistake in the previous corner. A move that he was attempting. I think it's just one of those things that can happen on a corner like that. Mikey Jovin, the best to drive on hard tyres, his chance to come under pressure as well now for 8 minutes. And got down to Leon, so that's another battery. No, just to move on Mikey Jones one, that's the Chris Smiley on now goes through up into so no surprise that the tired cars are starting to fall down, but Mikey Jones also now got Leon between himself and Josh Cook, who is the next of the hard tyre cars. And just back to the point, Josh, about hard tyres for race number 2 for the top 3. If we look at what Darryl DeLeon did at Brands Hatch, where he came to 7th place at the end of race number 1 and finished as the winner of race number 2, he's pretty much heading in the same direction, isn't he? Because he started 13th on the grid, he's up into 10th. I would probably add he's going to be up to 9th once he gets past Mikey Noble. He's going to be in a very good position to use his probably soft tyre for race number 2.
They are just putting a tyre on the left rear of Jake Hill's BMW, so I think they're finished with their repair work.
Good stuff then, yes, Jake Hill will be back into the race, albeit 3, maybe 4 laps down by the time he gets going once again, but at least the team have done a repair job, which is a task they don't have to worry about after race number 1, and it's also a chance to test the car and make sure everything is okay as they move into that second race a little bit later on.
In terms of the boost, Dan Cummings has used 3 laps of boost so far. He started with 7. Second place, used none of it. 2 laps at the minute, and that's Sutton and not used 1 lap. So normally it's the case that if you want to make moves, coming from Snetterton, both holding on to that, whereas Dan Cummings has used a little bit for the time being. Adam Morgan now is going to try and in fact, he just dropped that pace against Dan Lloyd, but Dan Lloyd is continuing to make progress in the restart racing Hyundai. And to be fair, both of those, him and Chris Smiley, did a great job on stage. Quite making to the quick sticks, but I think the pace they've got and has shown so far this year has been very impressive.
And Dan Lloyd, a couple of laps ago, got back past on Chills, as you say, just got past Alan Morgan, up into 5th, he's going quicker than Dan Robots, and so up into 5th position for Dan Lloyd, on quick best result of the season. The top indicators are chasing after Dan Robots in 4th position, and the well, race 2 of the weekend, because they will have the opportunity to run the top tyre in race 2, and that could absolutely give them an opportunity for a race home.
Certainly will, yeah. Dan Robotson's got to be a little bit careful now. More time. Provided with Alan, so still need to reach for that.
Dan Cummings on that one, he's got 1:54.